there was three major reasons that a lot of people either forget or don't want to talk about why the first time LeBron came back 3-1 in the series. The first one was that Draymond got suspended in Game 5. If y'all remember that, he couldn't stop hitting people in the dick, whether it was punching them or kicking them, and that Game 5 that he missed was only 6 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and then they ran out of gas and they lost their momentum, and it got swung back the other direction. The other problem there was that Harrison Barnes completely forgot how to shoot the ball. The last 3 games, Harrison Barnes was 5 of 32, 16%, and most of those shots were wide-ass open, which allowed them to roam and double-team Steph and Clay, and they weren't able to get their shots off. And the biggest reason that nobody brings up enough that annoys the piss out of me, Kyrie Irving was an absolute nightmare. I still dream about how tough Kyrie was. That pivotal Game 5, Kyrie Irving, who no one gives credit for, was 17 of 24 with 41 points that game, was 5 of 7 from threes. And yes, LeBron was great the entire NBA Finals, 29.7, 11 and 9, but Kyrie also averaged 27 points those games. And everybody only wants to bring up the block for Game 7. Oh, the block, the block, the block. The block was with a minute 50 left in regulation. LeBron missed his last 4 shots. So yes, the block was great, but there was still 2 minutes left in the game, and he couldn't make a shot. It wasn't until Kyrie hit that damn dagger on Steph Curry, tied 89-89 with 53 seconds left, that they were able to finish their 3-1 comeback and be able to finish making history. And then everybody got to put LeBron on a pedestal and go, oh, LeBron did it by himself, and it just pissed me off to no end because I'm like, dude, Kyrie had something to do with that. So if the LA Lakers want to try to repeat the 3-1 comeback with LeBron the way that he did it back then, there's going to have to be some things kind of going their way. There's going to have to be some kind of flukes, but Luka's going to have to be that kind of Kyrie of LeBron has always liked having either a Wade or a Kyrie or somebody else to kind of help him close the fourth quarters. That is what they brought Luka in for the first place, and if he can actually get enough rest or be energized enough to do it, he should be able to help them actually pull this off. And if not, man, it's going to become a longer and longer conversation with this whole LeBron James, Michael Jordan shit. The 3-1 comeback. Don't call it a comeback. Yeah, I actually had that CD. Don't call it a comeback, because can the Houston Rockets or LA Lakers be only the 14th team ever in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit and be the first ones to do it in 5 years? Only 5% ever come back from the dreaded 3-1. And like I said, LA shocked me. Golden State, I'm a fan, but I really thought the Rockets were young and inexperienced, and I really didn't think they were there. But the Los Angeles Lakers really did shock me. I'm not going to lie. I really thought this was at least going to be a more even series going forward. And honestly, it has been an even series. It's just been at the end, Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves' size and defense has just been able to overwhelm them. And there's been a couple, close calls here or there. Luka did get fouled at half court. The NBA did come back and say sorry, which I don't even understand why they do that, how these referees come back either an hour or a day later. Why even admit it, I guess, if you just get to go, yeah, we missed the call. Okay. You gonna do anything about it? No. We effed up. Oh, okay, cool. But, going back to the Lakers' actual problems, can they do this? Can they be 5%? Can they be the 14th team ever? They got 2 problems, really. They got 2 major ones. And one of the first ones is that Luka runs out of gas because he's out of shape, which I've been screaming for a while. And size matters. It's not just your girl telling you that. Size matters, and Luka is running out of gas. You see it with the way that JJ Redick is coaching. He is not, connecting with the bench. Pun intended. I don't know why he's not playing Dalton Connect at all. But, to only play your starters the entire second half of that last game, where that was an all-time record, was an interesting strategy. I'm all for it, at least for your top guys in a must-win elimination game. I have lost my mind watching coaches going all the way back to Jerry Sloan in 1996 to Utah versus Chicago NBA Finals, and he was sitting John Stockton for extended minutes in elimination games in the NBA Finals. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you waiting? What are you resting him for? Like, what's next? You don't win tonight, it's over. I think he knew that 3-1 was a bad deficit, and so he decided to keep the starters out there. I'm really not that mad at it, because a lot of starters do things like that in the playoffs, but that is really more of a lack of faith in his bench and not being able to get that big that they needed, that lob threat, that, rim down, presence down low to help a Luka out, who definitely had that in Dallas with like a Lively and Gafford. Jackson Hayes has just not been up to snuff, 1.8 points per game, and has only played like 8 minutes per game. It's interesting that LeBron LeBron, of all people, a 40-year-old LeBron James, and not a center, is by far number one on the Lakers in rebounds and in blocks, averaging 9.5 rebounds, 2.3 blocks. And yeah, man, it's just the truth, dude. Size matters. You know, I don't know what to tell you. And when that size is also out-shooting you the way Minnesota is out-shooting the Los Angeles Lakers from three, that is an absolute problem, dude. Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, McDaniels, and Reed are all shooting at least 42% from three-point line. They're able to put out goofy rotations in just these huge lineups where it's like Gobert, Randle, McDaniels, Ant, and Reed, or, you know, some kind of combination, maybe a DiVincenzo or a Conley thrown in. But they're big, they're tough, they're young, they're strong defensively. Not to mention Anthony Edwards is really committed on the defensive end and is able to work within the system more than a Luka ball-dominant, LeBron ball-dominant offense is. His, again, defense has been phenomenal along with their size. Their 43% three-point shooting. Anthony's been clutch at the end of these games, being able to help close out where he's had 12 points in the last two games in the, you know, quote-unquote clutch minutes there. So there's just a lot of issues that all come around here. I still say, though, you know, stars can win. Stars can put on runs in the NBA and, you know, more specifically the playoffs here. So do I think that a LeBron and Luka, if they're both hot and if they're both rolling and if they're both able to contribute along with any level of help from the bench, whether it's Rui, and no one's giving AR his respect. He has really been phenomenal. But they need a couple more guys to just step up. But, I mean, honestly, LeBron and Luka could will you easily to a 3-game win streak when two of those are at least at home. Although home court advantage is not what I thought it was. That was another shocking little fun fact here. Did you know of the 13 teams that have come back and done the 3-1 comeback, only 5 of them were ones with home court advantages? That actually kind of shocked me a little bit. But, yeah, so, you know, looking at it overall here, you know, they're bigger than you, they're younger than you, they're deeper than you. They got more size than you and everything else. So there's a lot of problems to go around and to blame. But I will go back to Luka, who, you know, has had a rough year this year, being traded for no reason. Well, the reason I'll explain, and then kind of have an up and down. And first, you know, people are saying, oh, the LA is going to be a title contender. Next thing you know, they're down 3-1. And both him and Jokic, I'm going to continue to say it. I'll say it now. I'll say it again. I'll say it tomorrow until they do something about it. Hit the video here for me. Mateo, Luka and Jokic are fat for the NBA. Neither has been conditioned well enough this season to handle the extra minutes that they're both being required to do, and it is causing problems. And it's not a secret. This is why I get so annoyed when people get upset that I say that they're both out of shape. Luka was literally traded for it out of Dallas. Now, it was a bad trade, and they made a horrible decision on what to get back, but that was the main reason they got rid of him, because his lack of conditioning and lack of defense. And Jokic will flat-ass tell you, dude, I don't give shit off season. I don't do nothing. I drink beer. I eat pizza. Like, neither one of these guys has ever said, dude, I am the most well-conditioned athlete in the NBA, and you are starting to see it in these fourth quarters. That's where you're seeing these extended minutes, and they're running out of gas. And like I said, they start off a bat out of hell. There's absolute bat out of hell. Luka in the first quarter has had 3 first quarters in just this series where he has a 16-point, and a 13-point first quarter, and has had no more than 7 in any of these fourth quarters when they really needed him, and no more than 2 field goals made in any fourth quarters. Nikola Jokic, his last 5 fourth quarters has only shot 39% and also has not made more than 2 field goals in any of those 5 fourth quarters. Luka is only shooting 29% in the fourth quarters, even worse than Jokic's 39, and has had 2 total points in the last 5 minutes of the last 2 games in the clutch time there, when they've really needed Luka magic. And while it's a lot to ask them to say, hey, play 42 minutes per game, they're far from the only ones. They're far from the only stars who are asked to take, more of a load on as far as in the playoffs here, whether it's a Van Fleet, OG Anunoby, Jamal Murray, Cade Cunningham, LeBron James, Anthony Edwards. Hell, Steph Curry is averaging 39 minutes per game. They're not the only ones being asked to average at least 40 minutes per game. The problem is they're out of shape, they're too fat, they don't take the offseason seriously enough, and as good as they are, as great as they are, as MVP candidates as they are, God, it frustrates me to no end to watch them just kind of huff and puff through these fourth quarters and have these just, kind of piss poor finishes because they just don't have what it takes to get it done. I cannot imagine how good both of those guys would be. Could you imagine how good both those guys could be, if they took their offseason training seriously the way, a Steph Curry or a LeBron did, it would be absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, that they don't. I would lock their ass in. If I had just freedom to the purge one year, I would lock those two in a room for a summer and just make them diet and exercise, because I would love to see what they could do, most importantly, come playoff time, if they actually had their fat asses conditioned. Unfortunately, they don't, and they continue to struggle in the fourth quarter, and that is going to be the Lakers if they continue to lose and, kind of get upset here. It really is an upset, 3-6. It's going to be because Luka is not able to give you Luka magic at the end because he's too fat, he's too out of shape. Same thing with Jokic. If they lose to the Clippers, or whenever they do lose, I don't think they're winning an NBA championship. Is the exact same problem. Both these guys, I just wish 1 year, just for fun, just to try it. Get your fat asses in shape. Again, I'm fat for the world. I'm fat for the NBA. They're not, just not in good condition. I'm trying to elaborate and be too nice about it. I'm trying to be too woke about it. They're out of shape for the NBA, and the fourth quarter stats show it. They both come out bats out of hell in the first quarter, and by the fourth quarter, completely suck. And are not, at least for them, they suck. And there's no surprise why. On another note, speaking of the 3-1 comeback, a lot of people brought this up to me.
Don't call it a comeback.
Oh, you want to go here? You want to go here? Can LeBron do it again? Can LeBron lead another 3-1 comeback the way that he did that magical year in 2016 when he beat my 73-9 Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, the only one to ever do it? And, everyone talked about, it was all LeBron. It was the greatest thing. It made him the GOAT. LeBron even said as much because he came back from the 73-9 Warriors in the NBA Finals down 3-1. The only guy to ever do it. You want to talk about it? Do y'all really want to talk about it? Because we can. And how it actually would compare to if the Lakers could do it this year, how those similarities would need to repeat. That was one of not just the biggest flukes, but a kind of, good explanation of why it's only a 5% time this actually ever happens. There was 3 major reasons that a lot of people just either forget or don't want to talk about when we talk about why the first time LeBron came back 3-1 in the series versus the Warriors in 2016. Now you can hit this video here for me, Mateo. The 3 main reasons. The first one was that Draymond got suspended in Game 5. If y'all remember that, he couldn't stop hitting people in the dick, whether it was, punching them or kicking them. And that Game 5 that he missed was only 6 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and then they ran out of gas and they lost their momentum, and it got swung back the other direction. The other problem there was that Harrison Barnes completely forgot how to shoot the ball. The last 3 games, Harrison Barnes was 5 of 32, 16%, and most of those shots were wide-ass open, which allowed them to roam and double-team Steph and Clay, and they weren't able to get their shots off. And the biggest reason that nobody brings up enough that annoys the piss out of me, Kyrie Irving was an absolute nightmare. I still dream about how tough Kyrie was. That pivotal Game 5, Kyrie Irving, who no one gives credit for, was 17 of 24 with 41 points that game, was 5 of 7 from threes. And yes, LeBron was great the entire NBA Finals, 29.7, 11 and 9, but Kyrie also averaged 27 points those games, and everybody only wants to bring up the block for Game 7. Oh, the block, the block, the block. The block was with a minute 50 left in regulation. LeBron missed his last 4 shots. So yes, the block was great, but there was still 2 minutes left in the game, and he couldn't make a shot. It wasn't until Kyrie hit that damn dagger on Steph Curry, tied 89-89 with 53 seconds left, that they were able to finish their 3-1 comeback and be able to finish making history. And then everybody got to put LeBron on pedestal and go, oh, LeBron did it by himself, and it just pissed me off to no end because I'm like, dude, Kyrie had something to do with that. His 41 points Game 5, his unbelievable play, his 27 over the finals, but everybody just wants to go LeBron, block, block. I remember the games. I remember a minute 50 left. I remember LeBron not being able to make a shot. I remember Kyrie sticking that on the road on Steph Curry. It was absolutely a nightmare. So, if the LA Lakers want to try to repeat the 3-1 comeback with LeBron the way that he did it back then, as I've kind of pointed out, there's going to have to be some things kind of going their way. There's going to have to be some kind of flukes, but Luka's going to have to be that kind of Kyrie of LeBron has always liked having either a Wade or a Kyrie or somebody else to kind of help him close the fourth quarters. That is what they brought Luka in for the first place, and if he can actually, get enough rest or be energized organized enough to do it, he should be able to help them actually pull this off. And if not, man, it's going to become a longer and longer conversation with this whole LeBron James, Michael Jordan shit, and I'm trying not to go there because I got too many other things I need to get into. But good God, y'all continue that. And man, 7 years, now 8 years, only one title, and it's a damn bubble title, is problematic when you consider he is still at least showing that he has a high level of play, and maybe there's bigger problems than just, not having the greatest teammates, which doesn't make sense because he's now got Luka freaking Doncic, and he's had all-stars before. All right, go.